Welcome to the course on emerging domain in electronics engineering. This is lecture 14, and in this lecture we will see the operational amplifier. So, first of all we will see what is operational amplifier, what is op-amp, we will see what is the pin configuration for op-amp, we will see the applications also. So, first of all the definition of op-amp. So, an op-amp is a very high gain. The first important thing is very high gain amplifier having a high input impedance, typically in mega ohms, and low output impedance less than 100 ohms. So, this op-amp is having three qualities. First quality is a high gain, very high gain. Second is the high input impedance which is required for a good amplification, and the low output impedance which is again a requirement for a good amplifier. Apart from that, the op-amp is a wideband DC amplifier with high noise rejection, means this amplifier will reject the noise signals. We will see what is the phenomena due to which the noise get rejected by this amplifier. Now, the basic circuit is made using a differential amplifier having two inputs, one is the positive input and one is the negative input. So, based on this we can say that the positive input is referred as the non-inverting input, whereas the negative terminal is referred as the inverting input, and correspondingly it is having a output. So, we will again repeat the definition for op-amp. Op-amp is a very high gain differential amplifier having a high input impedance and low output impedance and having a high noise rejection. So, this is the IC 741 op-amp IC, this is a practical IC. So, it is having 8 pins, it is available in a 8 pin dual inline packaging. So, this is the packaging offered. So, if you will see the pin configuration, so first pin will start from here. So, like this will move 1, 2, 3, 4 and again in this particular direction 5, 6, 7, 8. So, first pin is offset null. So, we will talk about this pin offset null. Second pin is a inverting input, means inverting means a negative input. After that, non-inverting input means the positive input, that is a non-inverting input. Now, we have fourth pin which is minus V and we have seventh pin which is plus V. So, we can say that here the op-amp basically operates on a dual power supply, means plus minus V, and again this fifth pin is offset null, sixth pin is output and this eighth pin is not connected. So, here if we talk about this first and fifth pin, these are offset null. So, what happen in the op-amp is that if we are not applying any input, then also the op-amp is giving some output. So, that output is basically known as offset, that output is known as offset. So, with the help of these two pins, means pin number 1 and pin number 7, we can make the output of op-amp equal to 0. So, now we have the dual op-amp, IC number is 1458. So, we have two op-amp in this, pin number 1 is the output, 2 and 3 are the inputs, one is the inverting and the another one is a non-inverting. Pin number 4 is minus V and pin number 8 is plus V. Pin number 7 is the output for the second op-amp, this is let us say B, this is A op-amp, and similarly the pin number 5 and 6 are the inputs, one is the inverting input, second is the non-inverting input. So, these are the two we can say the pin two ICs corresponding to the op-amp. Now, we will see that when the input signal is applied between the input terminals, means the inverting and the non-inverting. Then we can say that we have a impedance which is given by Ri, and Ri is the input impedance of op amp. And whenever we are seeing from the output terminal, then we have a resistance which is given by R naught, and which is typically very low. We have seen low means less than 100 ohms, whereas AD is a differential mode gain. We will talk about the gain of op amp, but here we can understand that op amp is having a very high gain. So, what we can have, Vd is a differential voltage, Vd between means the voltage is applied between the two terminals, Ri is the input resistance, Ad is a gain, R naught is the output resistance, and V naught is again the voltage, output voltage. So, if we will use some important point that for a op amp the input impedance is very high, means when Ri is very high, then the circuit will be open circuit, this will be open circuit, and here at the output side, when the output impedance or output resistance is very low, means R naught is 0 or close to 0. So, the circuit will be short circuit. So, this one is a we can say this is for the practical op amp, this is a equivalent circuit for the practical op amp, and this is the equivalent circuit for the ideal op amp, means when R in is infinite and R naught is 0, and Ad is also very high, which is called as a differential gain of the op amp. So, the circuit, this particular circuit is providing a constant gain, and the input signal V1 is applied through the resistor R1, this is R1, and the output is then connected back to the same minus input, means the output is connected back to the same, which is called as a negative terminal through a feedback resistance. We will talk about this, that this op amp is in a closed loop configuration, whereas if we are not using a feedback RF, then it is known as a open loop configuration. So, the output is basically connected back to the input side with the help of this feedback resistance. Now, this plus input means this non-inverting input is connected to the ground. Now, the signal Vi is applied to the inverting configuration, inverting amplifier, inverting terminal, let us say. The resulting output is opposite in phase. We will see that this particular configuration provides a phase shift of 180 degree. We will see with the help of a small derivation. So, now if we will replace the op amp here by its equivalent, first of all, if we are utilizing a practical op amp, that means we need to include Ri, we need to include R naught and this AV, AdVd, or we can say AV into Vi. Vi is the input voltage here, this is Vi. So, if we are using the ideal approximation, or if we are using the ideal op amp equivalent circuit, then what we can have? We can have this Ri equals to infinite and R naught equal to 0. So, if we can redraw this circuit, so this circuit will look like in this particular manner, that we have two sources, one is V1, one is this one, minus AV times Vi, and we have R1 and RF, and the potential difference Vi is this one. So, now we need to calculate the output voltage in terms of V1, which is the applied voltage. So, here we can clearly see that there are two sources, although this is dependent, but if there are two sources, then we can use the superposition theorem. Now, the superposition theorem says that if we have multiple sources or more than two sources, we can calculate the response due to individual sources, and if we will finally club both the responses, then we will have the overall response. So, first of all, let us say when we are suppressing this source, then what is Vi? Vi will be, we can use a voltage divider, V1 multiply by Rf divide by R1 plus Rf. Vi equals to V1 multiply by Rf divide by R1 plus Rf. Let us say this is the first equation, or we can say this is Vi1 because we are considering first source. Now, if we are considering the second source, so again due to which we have Vi2, the response. Now, we are suppressing this input source Vi and we are going to utilize this minus AV times Vi. So, the voltage Vi will be, Vi2 will be, or the potential difference Vi2 will be R1, or we can say R1 multiplied by minus of AV multiplied by Vi divided by R1 plus Rf. This is our second equation, means we have evaluated both the responses, first due to this and second due to the second response, second source. Now, we need to club both the responses with the help of superposition. So, using this superposition, the voltages, we have this first equation, we have the second equation. So, the total voltage will be something like this, Vi1 plus Vi2. So, this will be the simplified version will be Vi equals to Rf by Rf plus 1 plus AV times R1 multiplied by V1. Now, we are going to utilize, now we are going to use some approximations. What are these approximations? These approximations are, as per the definition of op amp is a very high gain. High gain means this AV is very high. If this AV is very high, then in comparison with 1, we can neglect this. Now, if we are neglecting this, now we have the second term which is AV multiplied by R1. So, again if we are assuming that AV multiplied by R1, again it is a very good, it is a very large quantity in comparison with Rf, then again we can utilize the approximation. So, this approximation says that first is AV is very high, and after that AV R1 is also high in comparison with Rf. So, this Vi will be Rf by AV R1 multiplied by V1. So, the voltage gain which is V naught by Vi, the voltage gain means the ratio of output voltage to the input voltage, V naught by Vi. V naught was minus of AV multiplied by Vi, and Vi equals to, Vi is basically this quantity. So, we are going to replace here, and we can say that these V naught by V1, if we will take this V1 in the denominator and this Vi will be cancelled out. So, we will have V naught by V1 equals to minus of Rf by R1, means the gain is negative. That means it shows that there is a phase shift of 180 degree. There is a phase shift of 180 degree, means if we are applying some signal or some AC signal, something like this, then we will have the output in this particular manner. The phase difference is 180 degree between the input signal and the output signal. So, this is the gain. Now we can say that previously the gain was very high. Now this gain is minus of Rf by R1. So we'll be commenting on this also, that this high gain, which is AV, high gain is not so advantageous, because high gain corresponding to the low stability. So we are going to basically minimize the gain. Somehow we are minimizing the gain, and we are going to increase the stability. So our basic concern is that somehow gain reduces, but corresponding the stability improves. So due to which we need to provide some feedback. So for this previous circuit, we have the feedback RF, that is basically used in a negative configuration. We will see somewhere in our next slides the open loop op amp and the closed loop op amp. Now we have a very famous term related to the op amp, which is called as a virtual ground. So the concept of virtual short implies that although the voltage is nearly equal to 0, there is no current through the amplifier input to the ground, means there will be no current flowing in this particular direction between the terminals, means between the input terminals of the op amp, whatever we have the inverting and non-inverting. So as a result, the current is not flowing. So the heavy line is basically used to indicate that we may consider that a short circuit exists. Short exists with Vi nearly 0, but this is a virtual, means if the current is 0, that means what we can assume, if the current is 0, means we can assume that both the potentials are same. The potential at both the nodes are same, that is why the current is 0, and the second terminal, this was connected to ground. So naturally the another terminal, that is also equal to 0. So that is not actual 0, one is actual 0, one is virtual, right, one is actual short or actual ground, one is virtual ground, right. So this seems that it is grounded, right. So it is virtual short. So there is no current goes through the short to the ground. So current goes only through the R1 and after that RF, and current will not flow from this R1 to the ground terminal. So the I will be equal to, if it is this current is I will be equal to V1 by R1, and similarly this is equal to V0 minus of V0 by RF. So if we will utilize this, so V0 by V1 equals to minus RF by R1. So the same result we have obtained using the condition of virtual ground. So previously we have seen the equivalent circuit, and after that we have utilized the virtual ground concept. Now we have the single ended input. Now what is single ended input? If we are utilizing only one terminal, one input terminal of the op amp, and the another input is connected to ground, then it is referred as a single ended input. So if we are applying input, let us say on the non inverting terminal, then we have something like this, and if Vi we are applying on the inverting terminal, means on the negative terminal, then we have something like this, means corresponding to the positive peak we have a negative output. So that is the means we can say that the output is inverting here, and in the previous situation the output is non-inverting. So we can conclude here that whenever we are applying an input on the non-inverting terminal of the op amp, then the output is in the same phase, and if we are applying input at the inverting terminal, then the phase is different, then the phase is 180. Now, after that the double ended or the differential input, this is very important. Now, if you are utilizing both the inputs of the op amp, let us say if this is Vi1, this is Vi2, and the difference which is called as Vd is Vi1 minus Vi2. So, it is a differential voltage. So, this is known as the double ended input, means we are utilizing both the input terminals of the op amp. So, again we will see if this voltage is high, then it will be non-inverting, and whenever this Vi2 is high, we will be having the inverting kind of waveform. So, these are the two op amps, one is a single ended input and one is a double ended input. Now, we have one important thing which is a differential amplifier. As we have seen that op amp is a very high gain differential amplifier. So, a differential amplifier is basically consists of two transistors, two identical transistors, Q1 and Q2. Q1 and Q2 identical means in all respects, means if the same voltage is applied at that particular point, right, means the same amount of emitter current will be flowing through the transistors Q1 and Q2. So, if the input signal is applied to the either input, which we have already seen is known as a single ended operation. If both the inputs are used, then it will be known as the double ended op amp, that we are utilizing both the pins, means the inverting input as well as the non-inverting input. Now, if the same input is applied to both the inputs, means to both the inputs which is Vi1 and Vi2, then the operation is called as common mode. We will see what is this common mode stands for. We will be seeing in the common mode rejection ratio, right, that is the ability of the op amp. So, means the important thing here is that if we are applying the same input to both the terminals, to both the input terminals of the op amp, then the operation is referred as the common mode operation. So, this is the basic differential amplifier circuit having two inputs and two outputs V01 and V02 corresponding to transistor Q1 and corresponding to transistor Q2, having the resistances RC and we have a equivalent resistance RE, which is the emitter resistance. Here we have plus VCC and here we have minus VEE. So, this is basically the first stage of the op amp, which is a differential amplifier stage. So, after this the main feature, the important feature of this differential amplifier is the very large gain that we have talked about, that it is having a very high gain when the opposite polarity signals are applied, means whenever at the input terminals of the op amp, one is negative, one is positive, if these inputs are in opposite polarity, means let us say minus V and plus V, something like this. So, the inputs as compared to the very small gain resulting from the common inputs, means we can say that when the opposite polarity signals are applied to the op amp, then it get highly amplified, whereas if we are applying the same polarity signals, so the op amp will reject the same polarity signals, and this is known as the common mode rejection, the ratio of the differential gain to the common mode gain. Differential mode gain, which is referred as AD, and the common mode gain is referred as AC. This is called as the CMRR. We will see what is the actual definition for CMRR, common mode rejection ratio, but here we can say that the opposite polarity signals will be highly amplified, whereas the same polarity signals will be rejected. After that, we have said that op-amp can be used in open loop configuration and in a closed loop configuration. So, what this stands for? If we are not utilizing a feedback, something like this is, let us say, the output. So, if we are not using some feedback configuration, then it is referred as, the previous one is referred as the open loop, and whenever if we are using the feedback, maybe negative or positive, this is positive, negative feedback and this is positive feedback, then these two configurations are known as the closed loop configurations. So, in basically this negative feedback is used in the feedback amplifiers, whereas this positive feedback is used in the oscillators, because this negative feedback configuration reduces the gain, whereas this positive feedback increases the gain. If the gain increases, then the circuit will become highly unstable. So, the positive this positive feedback is used in the oscillators, and this is the open loop configuration which is used somewhere in the comparators. So, by utilizing the negative feedback, we are going to improve some characteristics of op-amp. So, what are the characteristics? We will see the bandwidth, we will see that we will reduce the gain, will increase the stability, and this negative feedback will basically give an impact on the input and output impedance also. So, these are the points regarding the open loop configuration and the closed loop configuration. These are the references. Thank you.